Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is talking all things Real Housewives of Potomac, what is going on with this season, why I think it's a bit of a flop, and yeah, we'll get into it. But before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, let's start talking about the girls and this week's episode. Why I think it's a bit of a bore, a bit of a flop, but why I think it will be redeemed going forward. So, first, let's talk about Karen. So, we all know the drama around Karen is her DUI, alleged cheating, and does she or doesn't she have an alcohol problem? Should she go to rehab? Now, I am not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but I do think that if you are getting multiple citations for driving under the influence, particularly alcohol, maybe you want to look at that. Maybe you want to talk to someone. Maybe you want to get some help. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons between how Karen Huger has been treated on the show versus Shannon Bedore, who also got a DUI, has been treated on the OC. Both women allegedly, I'll just say alleged for all of the intents and purposes, were driving while drunk or driving after drinking. And the way that they have been received on both of their shows have been similar, but also vastly different. And I'm going to break down why I think that is. Number one, Shannon on the OC, she's past the hump, if you know what I mean. She's past the hump. She already got her sentence, she already got her community service. She's not going to go to jail. So Shannon is over the legal hump of what happened to her. Karen is going through it. She has yet to have her day in court. She has yet to be sentenced or knowing what her fate will be. So the level of accountability that these two women can take have to be different because the stakes are different, especially with Karen. I don't know if that was Shannon's first offense. I think it was with a particular with like a DUI type situation, but it doesn't seem like it was Karen's. So the stakes are different. One is jail time, So the way that these two women can show up is different. Once something is behind you, you can take accountability all day long. But when you still have to go to court, you have to, like Karen said, I can't talk about it. I can't do anything about it. So this whole thing with Mia making her entire personality, her entire storyline, every single scene about coming after Karen for this DUI, to me, it's whack, it's tired, it's played out, and I'm over it. Like, I'm personally done talking about Karen's DUI. Like, I get it. What she did was wrong. Yes, she should be held accountable. Do I want her to go to jail? No, I don't. Do I want her to get help? I do. So I'm sick and tired of Mia keep going after Karen every single scene, and then also getting her little minions to get in on it as well. Like Jacqueline's going after her. Her friend came in with this 3-year-old tea talking about, oh, Karen butt dialed us and she was drunk and she was going to see somebody that wasn't right. Who cares? Number one, this was 3 years ago when it was clear Karen and Ray were going through it. Who knows what Ray was doing? I don't really care if Karen's dipping it and doing it. I think she should bust it open for whoever she wants. I think her and Ray probably have an understanding. So the whole thing about trying to out Karen as some cheater, that's also tired and whack and boring as hell. And also, it's not going to sway anybody's opinion of Karen. If you like Karen, you're going to like her even if she's drinking, even if she is cheating. It's not going to actually change our minds. If you like Karen, you like Karen. This is nothing new. So Mia keep going after Karen. It's tired. It's giving Tamra going after Shannon in the OC, where it's like your entire personality is badgering a woman for making a mistake, which is a regrettable mistake, while your actual personality is mean, nasty, evil, and rude. And you don't want to share what's really going on in your life. You just want to dodge the bullet. You want to deflect. You want to talk about everybody else, but you don't want to really be honest about what's going on in your life, because I don't think Mia's actually being honest about what's going on in her life. I think she likes to throw Gordon under the bus. I think she likes to glorify ink, but I think a lot of what she says is lies and BS. She has her little minions doing her work, her little Jazzy, her little Jacquelines, her little flying monkeys, who are now catching the strays that are meant for her. Like, number one, Karen would never come for Jacqueline and her PP, her, what was his name? Patrick or David, whatever the hell his name was. The children, her father, her children's father, who Mia said, basically hurt her and played her, and she was just dumb enough to keep trying to save him. And Karen, when she was like, yeah, like Patrick talks to you, I was like, oh my gosh, Karen, you're a queen. One-liners, amazing. Because Patrick doesn't really talk to her like that. They're really not together. But Karen never would have brought up his, charges. And to me, again, I'm going to say alleged, it seems like he was a dirty cop who got caught and got fired. But unfortunately, like a lot of dirty people, whether it's politics or law enforcement or legal, whatever, they just get moved to a different department. It sounded like, because Jacqueline was like, well, it was nothing in the public and blah, 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 blah. So it just sounds to me, again, this is my opinion, this is alleged, I don't know for a fact, reading between the lines, it sounds like he was a corrupt, dirty cop who got caught, got fired from his department, and they sort of just shifted him to a different department. That's what it sounded like. To me, at least. Yeah. Anyway, Karen never would have brought that to the show if you weren't going at her so hard on behalf of your girlfriend, Mia. And I say girlfriend in every way of the term because they clearly have sex, they clearly smash. They are bosom buddies, and that's no tea, no shade. This is what they do themselves. They have showered together. They've talked about having threesomes together. They share rooms together. So this is no shade to that. I'm just saying, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck and it tells you it's a duck, quack, quack. Okay? So Jacqueline, trying to prove her loyalty to messy Mia, going after Karen because Mia's mad at her, is now catching all the strays that should actually be going to Mia. Right? So I'm feeling like this season, for me personally, it's flopping because it's the messy Mia season of just going after Karen. And that story is way tired and it's way whack. I'm over it. Now, when it comes to the other ladies, Stacy, I think Stacy is going to shine. I think that the seasons will shift. I think if they can get off of Karen and Karen's DUI and shift to a different narrative, different drama, I think the season can be redeemed. The girls need to start having fun. Wendy's birthday was not it. It was tired. It was boring. It was flat. Again, I think Wendy is boring to me. She's always been a cornball to me. I like her as a person. As a person, I mean, like, I obviously don't know her personally. But as a person, I mean, like, I don't have anything against her. I just think she's boring as a personality on TV, on a reality show. That's what I mean. I think she has a cute little family with her and Eddie. And, like, that's it. I don't think she's that funny. I don't know. She's just not it for me. I thought her birthday was very flat, very boring, and they weren't really even there to really celebrate Wendy. I feel like everybody's tiptoeing around her because of all the NECA drama that happened last season with like the voodoo and the witchcraft and the mama and the Mias and all that stuff. So I think that everyone's sort of tiptoeing around Wendy because of all of that stuff. They don't want to like rock the boat. And then with Robin being fired, NECA being fired, Candace taking a break or pause, whatever the case may be, I feel like everyone's sort of like on their P's and Q's and on their best behavior, which makes the season flat and boring because it's just let's talk about Karen's DUI 25,000 times and we are all over it, done, let it go. Another thing I want to say about the Karen DUI with like the Mia and the Tamra and the Shannon and the Karen similarities is not just the fact that Karen is still in it. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her versus Shannon, who can go in and be accountable because she's already gotten her punishment, right? Another big difference is that I think Mia is a lot like Tamara. However, Tamara on the OC is being a terror to everyone. Like she's going after Jen, she's throwing Gina under the bus with her allegations of throwing Travis down the stairs. Like she's just going after everybody in such an unequivocal, evil way where the entire group is like, you are being completely awful and unhinged to everyone. This is really crazy. Whereas Mia has laser focused her evilness onto Karen. So I think it hits a little bit different when she's just laser focused on Karen and she feels like she has a silver bullet because of the DUI, that like she can't be touched. I'm personally really happy that Stacy isn't taking the bait and isn't turning on Karen. I think that Stacy is going to really come into her own this season, really stick it to the girls, have that, elite shade with like how she moves because she's shady in confessionals, but she never gets out of pocket, she never gets out of character. I think that Stacy is really going to come into her own and really shine this season. Now, I think that when it comes to the other girls like Ashley, I think Ashley probably should have taken a pause this season. I don't know what Ashley is bringing to the show other than being a Debbie Downer, a jealous Julie, a negative Nellie, a hater Helen, however you want to say it. That is Ashley Darby. She is bitter. She is mean. She's in everybody's business, but not talking about what's going on with her and Michael in this alleged divorce. So I'm like, I don't know why Ashley is there. She's jealous of I can never pronounce Kiriana KK. I'm just going to call her KK, y'all. She's jealous of KK. That's why she tried to come at her for her scar and her skincare line because she's mad that G and A aren't making any sales. They're not making any profits, okay? So she's mad that this girl comes along about the same age, super cute, young, professional, making money, skincare line, med spa. Ashley is probably so jealous. She can taste it in her mouth. And also knowing that Ashley's friend, Cookie Monster, came in and hurt this girl to the point where she has a scar on her face and now is taking this girl to court for assault. And Ashley has the audacity to act like there's something wrong with KK because she's having a visceral response to Ashley, who brought the girl, who assaulted her, and making snarky comments about the scar on her face. And Ashley has the audacity to act like KK is overreacting. Ashley, why don't you underreact sometimes? Why don't you just chill out, sweetheart? Why don't you keep your comments to yourself? Because what are you bringing to the show this season? You can't even stir the pot in a way that is interesting or engaging. Like, I don't even want you to be messy. That's how boring and basic you are. What is Ashley bringing to the show? Quiet as it's kept, the best part about Ashley Darby was Michael Darby, because I know he has allegations. I'm not negating that, but he was entertaining as hell. Him and his boo thing, Juan, watching Michael Darby and Juan all day, every day, they should have their own TikTok. I mean, they are hilarious. The little bromance, little boo things, getting together, doing their dipping and doing it. I would watch the Michael Darby Juan show. Okay. He was entertaining as hell. If he could just keep his hands to himself, he'd be fine. I want her to be more honest about what's going on in that divorce. Why is she so worried about money when she is divorcing a multimillionaire and has two of his young children? I mean, if nothing else, the child support should be, enough to never work if she played her cards right. But quiet as it's kept, seems like she didn't keep player cards right. I think Ashley did a gross miscalculation. I think she overplayed her hand. And I think that she is in some deep trouble when it comes to finances and this divorce from Michael. I think he has very powerful lawyers. I think he has a lot of money. I think he is very much over her and over the entire situation. And I just hope he doesn't abandon his two young kids in the process. Because if it was just Ashley and she was super worried about finances because he had some ironclad prenup, postnup, whatever, fine. But when you have two children of his, I don't get where that worry comes from. Because can't you like sue him? I don't know. There's just something, I don't know. There's something going on that's like weird and not mathing. I think Ashley probably should have taken a pause, really worked on whatever she needs to work on. She has a very dark energy. She's meddling in everybody's business, but isn't being honest about hers. And she just has a very downer energy this season. Similar to Giselle, but Giselle in a different way. Giselle's energy isn't like down or dark. Giselle's energy to me is more of like, I think she's really still in trauma and mourning with the loss of her father. That's the energy I get with Giselle. I think Giselle is phoning it in, not in a fake way, but in a like, I think she's still in shock and in trauma and kind of like going through the motions of life because her father passed away. So, not that she's being fake, not that she's being phony, not that there's anything dark about her this season. It's just a different energy when you lose a parent or someone you love so deeply and and abruptly, he got diagnosed with a tumor and then a couple like not too long after that he passed. Like to me that's abrupt. That's abrupt. And so I think that I don't think she has truly begun to process the trauma of losing her father. I don't think she's actually begun that process yet. And I don't mean that as like a slight to her. I just mean like as human beings on our healing journey, I think that sometimes it takes a long time to even be in a place to begin to heal. So that's what I think we're seeing with Giselle. I think she's going to be Karen's ride or die, which I think is good. But I think we're going to see a softer, kinder, more mindful, more open Giselle. One, I think she needs the Bravo check. Two, she doesn't have Robin. And three, I do think that on a genuine, authentic level, she's changing due to the loss of her father and maybe some other stuff going on in her life too. Life has a way of humbling you in a good way where you become grateful and kind, not meek and not proud of yourself, not that type of humility. So I think that's kind of what's going on with Giselle and them. Now, when it comes to KK, I I like her on the show, but but she definitely gives friend of energy. Stacy gives main character energy, full-time housewife. KK still gives friend of. I personally think, allegedly, my opinion, I think she only got the full time spot because Bravo and BC did not want her to sue them because of a physical altercation that happened at the G&A event. And I think that there was some deal probably negotiated where they brought her on as a full time housewife in order for her not to sue because like we said with these housewives with these fights throwing plates and dishes and glasses and trying to hit people, she got clocked in the head and now has a scar on her face. I'm pretty sure she could probably sue the production company because don't forget, even though cameras were down, mics were on, and don't forget they also aired that footage. So they can't say that they were not legally liable or it was not a part of their production when not only were they still not filming with the camera because the camera was down, but they still had audio. So they were still technically, getting footage, whether it's audio footage or video footage, they still got footage. And more importantly, they profited from that fight because they aired the footage on international television. So they can't say that they were not connected to this physical altercation. And we know that she's sue happy because she's suing Cookie Monster, which I think she should. If I'm standing there and somebody throws a bottle and knocks me in my head, I'm bleeding, I go to the emergency room, I get stitches on my face, and now I have a scar on my face. You're damn right I'm suing you for everything you have and everything your children will have and everything your grandchildren will even think of having. I'm suing you for all of it, okay? So I think that's good for her to do that. But I also think she had a case against Bravo. And if I know networks, they do shady deals. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And I'm pretty sure they said we'll give you full-time status, come and get in good with us don't sue us. We already have enough lawsuits. Because I don't think there's anything about KK that gives main character syndrome. I like her. I think she's beautiful. She's super smart. I think she needs some more self-esteem. She comes across very, even though she's very smart, she comes across very immature, very girlish. And she's in her late 30s, almost 40. And she comes across very immature, very girlish. Not that you can't have, and there's a difference between coming across immature versus being youthful. Like you can be youthful any age. That's a vibe. Being youthful. I pray to always be youthful. Being youthful is one thing, but coming across as like she gives a kinder version of Candace Dillard. You know what I mean? Like that's what she gives. She gives a very kinder, nicer version of Candace Dillard. Like, don't talk about my scar. Don't talk about my scar. You don't talk about it. Like, it's very, and so I think she could also use a little bit more self esteem because I think the guy that she's currently dating does not deserve her by any stretch of the imagination. He does not deserve her. She is beautiful, smart, cool, moneyed up, all this great stuff. And he, to me, seems like a dusty bum. I don't care if he has some like mental health facility, yada yada, Ponzi scheme, ML marketing scheme. I don't care what he's doing. His energy and his attitude stinks. He's nasty and he's mean, he's dismissive and he's rude, and I'm not into it. She deserves way better, but she's only going to get better when she realizes that she's the prize. That's the problem. She thinks he's the prize. That's why she keeps trying to earn him. Girl, get your life. Okay. Who else is there? I think that's everybody, you guys. I really do. Karen, I mean, this episode was kind of maybe it's, gearing up for the next episodes where it's like, does Karen need to go to rehab? What's going on? But I kind of feel right now like it's lackluster. Like what are the storylines? What's going on? Like, how many times can we hear about Karen's DUI? I will say about Messy Mia, she was on Watch What Happens Live. Turns out, Gordon has a girlfriend, and I am so happy for him. You guys know I'm Team Gordon. I love me some G. He has a girlfriend, and I think Mia is realizing that she may have made a mistake. Because when Andy was like, "Oh, and how are things going with Ink?" She was like, "Oh, they're good. Yeah, they're But you could tell that they're not good. Do you know what I mean? When you ask somebody how are things going? What's going on? And they're like, "Oh, everything's great." But like the energy is like things aren't good. I think things with her and Ink aren't as good as she's pretending that they are. Because again, I think he only showed up because that's where the money resided. He wanted fame and he wanted money. Hello. I don't know what's going on with them, but I don't think it's good if you just read her energy. And then again, with the whole Gordon having a girlfriend, moving on, no longer being obsessed with Mia, no longer stroking her ego, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that there may be some regret there with Mia with how she treated Gordon now that he's moved on and everything isn't so great with Ink. So there's that. So it's kind of where I'll land with everybody. I think this season is a bit of a dud, to be honest. What do you guys think? Are you enjoying this season? Are you liking it? I sort of think it's lost its allure. Like the fact that Mia is like the centerpiece of the show, that to me, it's an ick. It's an ick. It's a no. I'm just totally not here for it. So I just want to know what you guys think about this. I do think that the season will be redeemed. I'm not sure how, but I just have a gut feeling. I think if they can get their stuff together, switch gears, talk about other things, start having fun, I think the season could be redeemed, but time will tell. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and let me know what you think down below. So with that, let's move on to a different story. So I wanted to talk about Shannon Beador alleging that Tamara called her the C word and how John Jansen pressured her last season and other juicy scoop from The Real Housewives of Orange County. As we know, we just had the finale, and the reunion is this week, part one. So let's dive right on in and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says Shannon Beador revealed what wasn't shown on the 18th season of The Real Housewives of Orange County during a podcast appearance on Thursday. As she spoke of being called the C word on a number of occasions, recalled John Jansen requesting she defend him on a past season, and shared what she wished she had said to Alexis Bellino at the recently taped reunion. Shannon clapped back at claims of playing the victim and reacted to the DUI video threats. It was really surprising to me how deep it went, and unfortunately, you don't see all of it, Shannon began on the October 31st episode of The Vile Files, after being asked about the harsh criticism she received from certain cast members. There was more being called the C word multiple times and being talked to like the mafia gangsters. It's like, who talks that way? After confirming she was referring to her former friend Tamara Judge and admitting to crying a lot during production, Shannon said she's in a better place today. I feel pretty strong that it's over and I'm still okay. It didn't kick me down. I'm still moving forward, she declared. The latest season was especially hard for Shannon due to John's lawsuit against her and his relationship with co-star Alexis, who seemed to be doing his dirty work at times. Looking back at her own years-long relationship with John, Shannon recalled her ex-boyfriend coaching her ahead of a reunion. When I was in the reunion last season, I was so stressed out because it was like, you got to defend me. And then when I came back and went through the list of the things I said, it wasn't good enough, she revealed. Although John has moved on from Shannon and now is engaged to Alexis, Shannon believes her name often comes up between the couple. In fact, she was recently informed by a fan that they had ran into John and heard him speaking about her. It's like, yikes, but I don't know. I wanted to ask Alexis at the reunion, but I didn't have a chance to say, if you sleep in the same bed with John, how many minutes go by before my name is uttered? I wanted to ask it. 5, max. They keep saying for me to move on, and I have. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to think about them, Shannon stated. Okay. Let's talk about that for a little bit, and then we'll finish up the article. A couple of things. Number one, do I believe Tamara called Shannon the C word multiple times? 1000%. Tamara is absolutely unhinged, evil, psychotic, and delulu. And again, she thought that she really had this sort of, silver bullet against Shannon because of the DUI. And she grossly underestimated the collective love for Shannon and the collective compassion for people who make mistakes and take accountability for those mistakes. Tamara just took it way too far. She's just way too nasty, too much vitriol, all of it. And then regarding John Jansen and Alexis and Shannon, John to me is a weirdo. I feel like he's the type of guy who smells trauma on a woman. Shannon had just gone through her divorce with David Beador. There was, I'll just say alleged cheating, alleged domestic violence, alleged alcohol abuse, all of these things, right? So Shannon's coming out of that situation very, very vulnerable. Alexis, Jesus jugs, even though she came in really hot and needs to calm down, also in a very vulnerable position. She had just lost her mother. She had just broken off, I think, an engagement to her boyfriend. I think so. It was either an engagement or some type of serious relationship with some guy who she thought she was going to marry, something like that. So both of these women were still in crisis, leaving these traumatic situations, a death of a parent, ending of a marriage, ending of a relationship, all of those things. And he attaches himself to women who are very vulnerable in crisis and in trauma. And then he uses them. He used Shannon for money and for fame and for relevancy. And now he's using Alexis for fame. I don't know if she's paying him or not, but he's definitely using her for fame. He's using her for relevancy. He's using her as his mouthpiece on the show. And because she's in a vulnerable position, she's allowing herself to be used. She's proving herself to him. So I think that Shannon dodged a huge bullet. And the whole thing with him and the lawsuit against her, that's completely bogus. And Tamara is a hypocrite and is so disgusting. I'm sorry, but I never in my life would ever defend someone who helped someone sue me for defamation. Tamara alleged that her defamation case with Jim Bellino, who is Alexis's Bellino ex-husband, and Alexis was involved in the lawsuit. Shannon proved it with the text messages. Alexis was the one saying, we're sending a cease and desist. We're going to get lawyers. We're going to sue you. Alexis is Jim Bellino's wife at the time. Hell yes, she was involved in that. Come on. And all the texts proved it, and all of that. And Tamara knew that. Why in the hell would Tamara then align herself with Alexis Bellino? Tamara claimed that defamation case cost her $500,000. $500K, that's $500,000, right? So you're going to tell me that you would rather align yourself with a woman who cost you $500,000 because you want to stick it to Shannon Bedore so hard? Alexis Bellino was involved with 2 lawsuits against Shannon. First with Jim Bellino and the second with John Jansen. And you expect Shannon to pay this woman dust? Tamara, you're nuts. You've really lost the plot. You were aligning yourself, big upping, supporting this woman who cost you $500,000. Now, either you are real dumb and super stupid, or maybe it really wasn't $500,000, because I don't even think, like, at that point you can't be that evil. You can't be that evil where you're wanting to be evil and vindictive to Shannon trumps the fact that this woman had a hand in you losing $500,000. I mean, nuts. Absolutely nuts, absolutely bonkers to me. Like, crazy. Do I think that John Jansen and Alexis sit around and talk about Shannon? Yes, 100%. What else do they have to talk about? That's pretty much all they talk about. Anyway, when host Nick Viall wanted to know her thoughts on John claiming she's good at playing the victim and wondered why he's so obsessed with her, Shannon admitted she wasn't sure. I really don't know, because a victim actually is someone who sits back and blames other people and doesn't do anything. I'm still trying to make myself a better person. I'm not a victim, she stated. Tamara has put out that victim out there for years, and I'm tired of that. Speaking of John's claims that she owes him $75K for her facelift, Shannon suspected his case was not about money. I think it's about his reputation. He wants people to think he's a generous person, she explained. Narcissism 101. As for John and Alexis' statements regarding the videos John has of her on the night of her DUI, Shannon confessed, I had a lot to drink. I don't remember things that happened during that night. It's hard because I've come so far. Why bring that up? She wondered. I don't know what's on it. He says he's not going to release it, so I'm hopeful. I don't think it would be a good look for him to release it. The whole thing is bad, and I'm so horrified about it. I try to lead, for example, for my kids, so it wasn't a good look. Shannon was then asked if she found John to be a housewife chaser. I don't know. John hadn't watched any episodes when he met me, but I think he did a crash course and watched a lot, but I don't know that, she noted. It's a really small town. I'm not out there on the scene, so I don't really know a lot about that. I don't know if John Jansen is a housewife chaser, but I do think that he is a fame chaser. I think that he wants to be famous. I think he likes being in the spotlight. Why else would you have a publicist? Why else are you leaking press releases to People Magazine, to Page Six, to, all of the blogs and everything? Why else are you doing red carpets? Like, why else are you coaching Alexis and Shannon for how they speak about you on the show? Why else are you engaged to Alexis Bellino, trying to get her spot back on the show, because clearly she should be fired? So it's a lot and it's a hot mess. But Tamara, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're over here calling Shannon the C word while you are aligning yourself with a woman who cost you $500,000. Girl, bye. Miss me with all of it. But as always, I want to know what you guys think, and what do you think about the upcoming reunion of the Real Housewives of Orange County? Again, my prediction is I think we're going to be disappointed, because I think it's a timing issue. They filmed the reunion so long ago, and so much has happened between the reunion and now, with social media, with Tamara, with everything that's gone on. I think that Tamara's going to get a lot of grace at the reunion that she does not deserve. And I don't think that's going to sit well with us fans. So we'll see, but we have to remember the timing of the reunion. But again, I think that we're not going to get the pound of flesh that we want. And I think that we're going to be left with a bit of a sour taste in our mouth after it. So we'll see. But as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to Teddi Mellencamp. Okay, so Teddi, surprise, surprise, has actually filed for divorce against her husband, Edwin. And he's coming out looking like, Gollum from, uh, what's it called? Not a Ring of Fire. Anyway, he looks like Gollum, but we're going to get into all the details. But as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So this is according to page 6. It says, gotta scroll up, you guys. Teddi Mellencamp's estranged husband, Edwin, posted a cryptic message about, quote, dark days after her divorce announcement. The businessman took to his Instagram story to share a post-workout snap of himself after taking a hot 8 yoga class on Sunday. Dude, you're taking yoga classes and posting selfies on Instagram. Like, have you no shame? Can we say, like, middle-age crisis much? And he might be older than middle age. I don't know. But he says, you're not always going to be motivated or inspired, he captioned the selfie. That's where rituals and habits come in. Having good habits is what will get you through your dark days. Oh my God, shut up. Oh my God. It's when you're under pressure that your true character is revealed. The former Skyline Security CEO also shared a selfie alongside his and Teddy's 3 kids, Slate, Cruz, and Dove, as they headed to a church service. Church bound with these beautiful souls, he wrote. Okay. Former Skyline Security CEO. Newsflash, do you guys remember how many lawsuits and fraud allegations, again, this is all alleged, but Google it, against him and his company? Like, they were doing these security scams where they would target like elderly people or vulnerable people, and they would get them on sort of this like membership plan, get their credit card, not do a good job, and then just keep billing them and billing them and billing them and not allowing them to get out of it or tricking them. They were doing allegedly they were doing all of these sort of scams with the security stuff. So former Skyline Security, maybe he got fired. Who knows what happened? Maybe they didn't want the smoke. They didn't want the publicity of it all. Also, don't forget there was allegations around why is it that Eddie is the one doing security for Kyle Richards and security for Dorit Kemsley, and yet their houses are getting, burglarized multiple times for huge insurance payouts. Why is it Eddie's company always doing the security installation? I'm just saying, if it walks like a duck and quack like a duck, quack quack, might be a duck. Again, all alleged, just food for thought. Okay, so there might be some financial stuff going on. There might be some legal stuff going on. Think about all that stuff. Okay. Edwin appeared to be staying positive after Teddi announced they were parting ways after 13 years of marriage. After a great deal of care and consideration, I've made the difficult decision to file for a divorce, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum wrote in a statement shared on Instagram Saturday. My priority is my children and ensuring that every care is taken with their privacy and well-being throughout this new chapter. Wah, wah, wah. That's what everybody says. During this time we're separating, our focus is on our children and their well-being. We get it. We get it. Now, this is the thing, Teddi. You have that weird podcast, two T's in a pod with Tam Tam over there. Have you been transparent about the troubles in your marriage since you want to have an opinion about everybody else's life, since you talk about everybody else's drama and stuff going on, since you said that you thought Kyle and Mauricio could reconcile? Did you have that same opinion about you and your own husband, that you two could also reconcile? Or are you just up here on your, weirdo podcast talking about everybody else, talking about, Lisa Vanderpump and about the death of her brother and like being very mean and shady about that, and then being a part of the whole scripted thing where Tamara came out and allegedly lied about being on the spectrum and you were a part of that whole scam and scheme? Like, Did you think about, I don't know, talking about your marital issues on your podcast? Or you just want to talk about everybody else? Huh? Are you worried about your marriage or are you just worried about Kyle's marriage? Huh? Let me know. Are you worried about the state of your children's mental health since you're worried about their well being? Or are you just worried about pretending that Tamara is on the spectrum, disrespecting all of those people who are in that community? Hmm? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Anyway, making a public statement is not something I wanted to do. But in an effort to protect my family from undue speculation and rumors, I felt being open, honest, and vulnerable was the best path forward. If you were being open, honest, and vulnerable, you would have been open, honest, and vulnerable. That is not this. Shortly after Saturday's announcement, Teddi was photographed still wearing her wedding ring. She was seen getting into an Uber in Los Angeles while dressed in workout gear. Now, do you think that this divorce is real? Do you think it's a stunt to get back on the show? Do you think it's because of alleged fraud? Do you think that there's infidelity? Because don't forget, it was either last year or the year before, but I think it was last year. Remember, there was this guy, and I tried to find his name, but I couldn't find his name. There was this guy. He was some reality star on some like show, like I don't even like a Love Island, Love is Blind, Hot or Not, like some type of show like that. He was like some weird um reality person. I had never heard of him. But he had come out and he was doing some interview and he was saying how he allegedly had a threesome with two Beverly Hills housewives. And I thought it was Teddi and Kyle because he was talking about how there was a trampoline in the back and how she was like, oh, my husband's out. And it was supposed to be about some like real estate deal or something like that. I don't know. I always thought it was Teddi and Kyle. I think it's a little ironic that a year later, after this guy comes out alleging he had a threesome with two Beverly Hills housewives, and the deep dive I did, I thought it was pretty obvious it was Teddi and Kyle. I don't know. Maybe Eddie figured that out. Maybe, I don't know. Has there been cheating allegations with Eddie? Hey, now. All I'm saying is it seems very weird to me that Teddi has the smoke for everybody else's business, hasn't said boo hiss about her own marriage, is saying that Kyle and Mauricio could get back together and reconcile. And then out of the blue, she's filing for divorce from her own husband. Is this a plot to get back on the show? Or is this preemptive? Is there some type of lawsuit, legal issues coming down the pipeline that they're trying to get ahead of? Because we know this happens with housewives a lot. This happens with housewives a lot where, Erica Jane and Tom Girardi, the moment he knew that those subpoenas were coming, that those indictments were coming, that those lawsuits were coming, all of a sudden, Erica's like, he cheated on me 25 years ago. He's horrible. He's so mean to me. Where I'm going to get separated. Turns out this whole separation was just a part of their contingency plan. So Erica could keep the money and the property and all this stuff and not be implicated, even though she's hella implicated. I don't know. I'm just wondering, is there something else going on here, like a lawsuit or a fraud scheme or something going on that they're trying to get ahead of, where she can get the money, she can get the property, not be wrapped up in something? Because as we know, there was a lot of allegations about insurance scams, fraud schemes, all of that. And like we know at the Housewives, not just the housewives, but a lot of fraudsters, they will separate, get divorced in order to protect money and assets. So maybe there's something going on with that, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do we care? We all know she's quite boring. So do we even care that Teddi's getting divorced? I don't know. And what do you think is behind the divorce? And are you excited for the upcoming season of Beverly Hills? I know I am. I think it's going to be a really good season. I think the ladies are back in full force, and I think it'll be really, really interesting. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, I will drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat, and I will take some Candy Cane's questions and comments. All right. Okay. Hey, Miss T, I hope you had a great birthday, sweetheart. What is up? Thank you for being my mod. Hey, Philip D says Mia is annoying. Mia is hella annoying. Hella annoying. She's annoying and she's weird, and that's the problem when housewives make their entire personality one storyline against somebody else. Like, Mia, what's good? Hey, April says trash Mia the stripper that got a girlfriend. She need to worry about the old man she left broke. That part. That part. April says, why is Ashley there getting everybody business? What is her storyline? 100%. Hey, Nataski says Ashley was evil to KK, like I can't say Kiana, whatever, like that, knowing it was her event and her friend that physically assaulted her and left her with that scar. I agree 100%. Hey, Tay says Ashley needs to go already. That part. Hey, Philip D. Ashley is a producer's pet. Yes. And she's boring. Ashley is boring. I think she's depressed. I think she's going through it. She's phoning it in, and it's a lot, and it's not enough, like at the same time. Hey, Tasky, Mia being the centerpiece is so off putting. I agree. I don't think Mia is a fit for Bravo. I don't think she's a fit for the Housewives. And I'm not trying to be elitist or classist or anything like that, but I think she should be more on like Love and Hip Hop, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop DC, if there is one, make one. Something like that. I don't think she's a fit. The show to me isn't giving Housewives. The show, it's not. I don't even know what it is, but it's not giving the way it needs to be giving, okay? Hey, Tay, it's true that Tamara called Shannon the C word. Vicky confirmed it. I believe it. I believe it. Tamara is a hot, hot mess. Hey, Natoski, the fact that Tamara did that to her on her birthday trip, knowing what she was dealing with, is diabolical. 1000%. Hey, Mad Beast, what's up? Tamara needs a pause. She needs a big pause. A second pause, that part. Ms. T, a pause forever. Exactly. Hey, Torino says, I used to like. Yep. Mad Beast says, Team Edwin. Edwin. Me too. I'm Team Edwin too, because I can't with Teddi. She's like a mouthpiece. It's too much. Hey, Miss T, it's horrible security system. A few housewives used the service and got robbed. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think that, and again, this is my opinion, alleged. Don't come and sue me. Kyle, Ding Dong Dorit, Skeevy Eddie, Weird Teddy, y'all leave me alone. I think that there could be something to like, hey, we will on paper do your security, have the people come in that you hired to quote steal your stuff, and we'll sign off on the insurance claims and give us a little kickback when you get your insurance money. Like Kyle said, that the people who allegedly stole her stuff called her from jail and said, hey, all your stuff is in my mom's basement if you want to come and get it. Remember Kyle said that whack crazy story at the reunion? Number one, if someone is calling you from jail, all jail phone calls are recorded. Wouldn't you have a recording of that to take to the police and say, hey, someone's call, if the call is coming from inside the house, the person in your jail is the person who stole from me? Can't you indict them or arrest them on these charges? Wouldn't you call the police and say, hey, police, someone in your jail is the robber? Go to their grandparents' house and get my stuff? Like, and also, how did they have Kyle's phone number? I don't know a lot of, robbers out there who are in jail would have access to Kyle's personal cell phone number. How do they get access to her phone number? That, you know what I mean? Like that makes no sense. Anyway, Nataski says he looks spooky on the left. Yeah, he looks very. I didn't realize that's what Eddie really looked like, but yeah. Tay says more like two geeks in a pod. Oop. Ritoski says, and someone saw the trampoline in Teddy's backyard too. Exactly. Haben Leo, Shannon needs to sue all involved from Andy production cast. This season was an attack on Shannon's mental welfare. That's actually very true. Very true. He says, never saw the chemistry between these two. I'm not surprised. Hey, Haley says, hi. Hi, Haley. Oof, you guys, we did it. We did it. So let me know what you guys think about Real Housewives of Potomac. Are you watching? Is this season a flop for you? To me, it's a bit of a flop. It's kind of down. What do you think about Shannon versus Tamra? Again, I'm team Shannon. I think that Tamra is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I do think the reunion is going to disappoint. I don't think it's going to give us what we want it to give. I just hope that the ladies, I think they're going to be more forgiving to Tamra than they should be. And that's going to, Haley says, I just came. Have you already talked about Real Hop? Yes. Watch from the beginning. Go back and watch from the beginning. Yeah, we did Real Hop in the very first chunk. Ben says, Mia lies so much. She really does. You know how Mia's lying? No, you know how Mia's lying? Her mouth is moving. Haley says, okay, sweetheart. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think about that. The reunion. We'll definitely cover it this week. And then Teddi and Edwin, not surprised that I'm actually kind of surprised they're getting divorced. I did not see that coming. I agree. I don't think they have great chemistry, but I thought it was a good business arrangement. I think there's probably something financial, lawsuit, fraud, something coming down the pipeline that they're trying to get ahead of. But anyway, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.